let's talk about one of my favorite features in Python, tuple unpacking. It sounds kind of technical, but trust me, it's a super simple trick that's going to make your code way more concise, easier to read, and just better. So, ready to dive in? Here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll break down what tuple unpacking even is. Then we'll look at packing versus unpacking, and I'll tell you about the one non-negotiable rule. After that, we'll get to the really cool part, flexible unpacking with the asterisk. See how it works in the real world, and then wrap it all up with the key takeaways. All right, first things first. What in the world is tuple unpacking? Well, you can think of it as a shortcut that's all about making your code cleaner and more efficient. So the big idea is actually pretty simple. Instead of grabbing elements one by one, with those clunky indexes like data and 0, data and 1, you can just pull everything out into separate named variables in one single elegant line of code. This is a total game changer, especially when you have functions that return multiple values, because your code basically starts documenting itself. Now, to really get a feel for unpacking, it actually helps to look at its opposite, packing. They're really just two sides of the same coin. One puts things into a package, and the other, well, it rips the package open. Okay, let's look at this side by side. On the left, we've got packing. We're just taking a few values, apple, banana, cherry, and bundling them up into a tuple we called fruits. Simple enough, right? Then on the right, we do the complete opposite. That's unpacking. We take that fruits tuple, and its values get assigned directly to our new variables green, yellow, and red. See how slick that is? No indexes needed, just one clean, direct assignment. Okay, so this is obviously a powerful tool, but it comes with one very, very important rule. You could call it the cardinal rule, and it's what makes sure your code works the way you expect it to, every single time. And here it is. The number of variables you have on the left side of the equal sign has to exactly match the number of items inside the tuple on the right. Got 3 items in your tuple? You need exactly 3 variables. 5 items? You better have 5 variables. It's this perfect one-to-one mapping that keeps everything predictable and error-free. And what happens if you break that rule? Well, Python won't try to guess what you meant. It'll just stop and tell you right away with this very specific error, value error. It's Python's way of saying, hey, I don't know what to do here. You either gave me too many variables or not enough. It keeps things from getting ambiguous. But you might be wondering, what if I don't know how many items are going to be in the tuple? Or maybe I only care about the first and last values. That's where the little asterisk symbol comes in to save the day. This is the pro move that makes unpacking incredibly flexible. Think of the asterisk as a catch-all. In our first example here, green gets the first value, yellow gets the second, and then star red just swoops in and gathers up all the rest into a new list. In the second example, we can even put it in the middle. Here, green grabs the first item, red grabs the very last item, and star tropic scoops up everything in between. This is so useful for dealing with data that isn't always the same length. Okay, theory is great, but where does the rubber meet the road? Where are you actually going to use this in your day-to-day coding? Let's check out a few really common places where tuple unpacking shines. Okay, think about data processing. Imagine pulling a row from a database. Instead of record 0, record 1, you can instantly unpack it into variables like ID, name, and email. It's way more readable. Or what about functions that return a couple of different things? You can just assign all the results to variables in one shot. And it's amazing in loops. If you're looping over a list of tuples, you can unpack the items for each tuple right there in the loop definition. It makes for some beautifully clean code. So we've covered a fair bit of ground. Let's just boil it all down to the 3 most important things I want you to walk away with today. First, always remember that cardinal rule. Variables have to match values. It's the foundation. Second, when things get tricky, the asterisk is your best friend. Use it to collect leftover items into a list. And finally, remember the whole point of this. We're trying to write cleaner, more intuitive code. Unpacking lets you ditch confusing index numbers and use meaningful variable names instead. And that's really all there is to it. Tuple unpacking is one of those small features that can have a huge impact on how readable your code is. So the real question I have for you is this. Thinking about your own projects, what's the first piece of code you're going to refactor using this technique? Thanks for joining me.